All right, we are here at the IoT World Forum in Dubai 2015, and I'm hanging out here at Rockwell Automation with Geert Noonen. How did I do?
The first name is okay.
Geert Noonen. Geert Noonen.
Yeah. Yes.
All right, perfect. Got it. All right, so Geert, kind of an interesting background with Rockwell in terms of how we've gotten to this point with regards to IoT and the capabilities and the way that they support Rockwell and what we're doing. Kind of bring us up to speed. How did we get where we are now?
Okay, good morning. Welcome at IoTF. I'm happy to be here. We started all with old legacy networks. We had all disparate networks, ControlNet, DeviceNet to connect all these devices together. But we see the last 13 years people are changing. People are accepting Ethernet as the base, as the backbone to connect all these devices. So that makes life much easier and we can get more information from our end devices. As we can see later on the board, I will show you in a second, we start integrating frequency drives, we start integrating our flow meters that we get more data available and we can start transforming this data into information and make it later on into knowledge. Come, let's go over and I show you in a second.
All right, great. Let's dive on in. So up here in the cabinet, we've got a variety of different things that we're looking at here in the cabinet, and all of this is really an IoT story?
Yes, this is a real IoT story. Everybody knows the controller, the DCS part where it is happening, and you see this all connected to the switches. That makes life easy. It's one standard way. You bring your IT guy together with the OT. It is Cisco technology, so your IT guy is happy, he understands what is happening, he can program it. He has his diagnostic, but at the same time, for the automation guy, we integrated that easy that the data is also coming in the controller. He gets his own way to diagnose and to see it. It's the same way, it's only just another look. We changed the dashboard for him a little that he feels more comfortable to understand it. And as I told you, we integrate frequency drives. Before we had all outputs and inputs to control these frequency drives. People start to understand, yes, with one cable I can control it. But people stop there, unfortunately. We need to help them to say, hey, this is actually the first step, but now we get a lot of data from this drive because it can tell me what is my current consumption. Do I have an unbalance in my motor? That's the first step. I get some more diagnostic what is happening in my motor. But actually, I want to have more intelligence in it. In the good old times, we would put a power meter for the cabinet. But that is just a general number. I cannot specify for my production run. I use these motors and what was my consumption for this production batch. So by using this frequency drive as a little power monitor in my system, I suddenly get plenty power monitors in one single solution. And then I can start split it up. I can see what is happening and I can link my cost to my production unit. But now the next thing is, I know what is happening. Since I'm measuring my flow in my production line, here is just an example, it's also connected on Ethernet, the mass flow meter, I get all my information. If I could now say, okay, I see I use this much of flow and I connect it with my pump information, I can see how much do I use my pump. If I'm using my pump too hard, it's like running too hard, it will get exhausted and I will blow it up. So now I start to get it more technology, more information, and I can make better designs. So now I change my data into information. I change it to knowledge because now I know what is happening in my system and now I can make a wise decision to say what is happening. What can I do? So I reduce my total cost of ownership because I know what is happening. But the next step what I would like to integrate is vibration monitoring. You know, a pump is running on bearings and maintenance is saying, oh, I need to exchange my bearings every 1 or every 2 years. But they actually don't know what is the status of these bearings. They just say as a standard, best practice, I do it every 2 years. We need to change that also the view. We need to go to a proactive maintenance where we start measuring how well is the condition of my bearings. Maybe it's completely perfect after a year, and if I would open my pump and change the bearings, I actually increase my risk again because I put it together and I can have the best engineer, but if he puts it wrong, then I get maybe a failure. So if I know what is happening in my pump, I know what is the status of my bearings, I can look after a year and say, okay, everything is fine, I leave it there. I don't need to do my maintenance, and bearings are not breaking in a second. So you see over time the variation coming, and I will see that my vibration starts to come, and I can start planning my maintenance. I can do my predictive maintenance, and I can plan for my next downtime. Okay, I need to change. But that can be after 2 or 3 years and function how well I use my pump, so I get more data and information and wise decisions that I can make. Another nice thing that we can show here at the booth is actually our OptiLift integration. OptiLift is the technology that we're using to optimize wellheads. It's completely different than the other story I have here. With wellheads, we need to produce our oil, and we don't have the perfect wellhead in the ground because we have a mixture of water and oil, and of course we get gas, and we pump up some sand. So we need to be able to find out how to operate my well much easiest. So my colleague Tony.
All right, so Gerrit, how much of this is a combination story, not just of IoT capabilities for Rockwell Automation, but how much brings in the collaboration and the partnership with Cisco as all of this is being set up?
Well, the partnership with Cisco is very easy because we use one single network. We made together the CPWE, the Connected Plant-Wide Enterprise Network, where we explain for OT and IT people what is happening and to integrate. And this makes this thing happening because our maintenance guys and so on, they're sitting in their office, and we need to connect this data, what is sitting actually in the OT level, and bring it to the IT level. So there we need to have the IDMZ to get my data pump, what is sitting below, what is the heart, bring it to the right level in a secure way. And there the collaboration with Cisco is of course from a great added value.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, so let's shift over here to this side. Once we start to look on this side of the Rockwell Automation stand, what are we seeing here?
What we are seeing here is actually our solution for OptiLift. It's completely different. It's a solution for oil and gas. Here we start to optimize our wellheads. Our wellheads, we can start them direct on and off, but then we get too much hammer in our system. So we start using frequency drives again. Again, I can use my intelligence, what is happening with my fault diagnostic in my system. But now we start translating the data, what is coming locally at my wellhead. This is just a control panel for my wellhead.
Show us on the control panel as you're talking us through here.
So if I go here in my panel, I can get my information from my wellhead operation, and I see where my rod is actually going and the load of my plunger in the system. So I measure what is my pump up from the combination of oil, water and sand, and I need to optimize it. So we will run a mathematical model to define how my well below is doing. What is happening there? Because I cannot measure, I cannot put the sensors on the ground. So by using this mathematical model, I know how my well is handling. If I would have a square, I would have the perfect well, but unfortunately we don't have that in
Doesn't
control.
quite work that
no,
way,
it
does
doesn't work that way, so we need to optimize that. So what we did in the next part is actually what Tony will explain us here on the big screen, is bring this local data to the cloud and get it there available for production people, for maintenance people in an easy way. Let's have a look at the big screen.
Great, Tony, we're going to introduce Tony on in. Thanks so much for showing us around here. So I'm going to bring you into this side. Come on over, talk us through what it is that we're seeing up here on the screen that sort of expands on what Gerrit has been telling us up to this point.
Yeah, right. I mean, this is like the final stage of the process, right? You start with the last mile devices or the plant devices, and then or the devices are out there in the field, right? And then you aggregate all this data, you transfer all this data to the platform that allows you to look into the particular area where they are located or the different assets that you have in your field, right? If you are an operation manager in an asset, in an oil and gas asset, you want to know how each of your wells are behaving, how your particular field is behaving. But then after that, in the morning, when you want to know how your wells are working that particular day, you want to have your people only working in those that have any issues, right? So then you will go to the particular those that might have any issues, and then have a platform that allows you to see the detailed data that is coming from your devices through your network, through the radio frequency network. And then after that, you want to go and produce some analytics. So what we have here is a platform that allows you to put together multiple data sources from controllers in the field, from instrumentations in the plant, or some other smart asset as we have there, and then have them aggregated and show it seamlessly in a particular platform. You also can integrate in this same software suite a number of databases, devices from third party in an open environment. So at the end of the day, so like in this case, for instance, what you will see is something similar that you saw in the smart asset over there. You can see what we call a Dynagraph card that tells you how is your system performing. That tells you if you need to do some changes to your process, and then helps you to increment your production, to reduce your cost, and also tells you what to do next for your people in the day, how to use better your people, and also to, as we have seen, to decrease the safety risk. I mean, this is an integrated vision of how a plant or a production operation should be. I mean, this is one of the main tools that we believe might help the people to better manage their assets. That's what we believe.
So this is really a combination of IoT and IoE capabilities.
We believe so, because at the end of the day, you have devices that are smart, right? The devices that not only manage your process, they provide diagnostics about themselves, right? They provide diagnostics about the particular process. They might suggest what might be happening, and then you also will capture that and take action in a better way. It gives you an alarm of if the well is failing. It will give you an alarm if your particular process is having some behavior in the machine point of view. So you will act based on the particular point of concern. You are not going to have somebody going from location to location just to see if things are happening. You are saving a lot of resources. You're optimizing the people, you're optimizing your process and your investment.
Utilize those experts in multiple places at multiple times, put the experts exactly where they're needed. So really a reduction of CapEx and a real increase in your OpEx capabilities, how you can use them, keeping your costs lower and really directing those costs where they need to be.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we have seen different benchmarks in the market, right? We have experienced that in some places you can reduce 75% of the time in the field of the people. You can reduce the safety risk of the people going to the plants by themselves in the night, right? And driving to the particular remote asset. You can also see production increases of 5, 10, up to 20% in some cases in production asset. I mean, when you're talking about one well that produces 1,000 and you increase it by 20%, I mean, you make the math, right? And that's money right there, and the recovery of the investment is really fast. So if you put together all these variables of smart devices and connectivity, is a comprehensive suite of software that allows you to make the best of the data that you have. That's what the Internet of Things is going to help you to be more productive. That's what it is.
Just fantastic. Tony, it's been such a pleasure to talk to you. Geert is back here as well. I'm going to bring him back in. Thanks for walking us around Rockwell Automation. Really exciting things happening. And congratulations on a terrific showing here at IoT World Forum. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Thanks.